upcoming event. Hello, everyone. My name is Al Person. You can contact me at pastor@mascot.church, which is my email address, or in the comments below if you like. So just need to give you a couple of announcements, things that are happening in my world that will affect this video channel and some of you even directly and personally. It was a great pleasure for us in 2004 and 2006 to bring out Don K. Preston from Ardmore, Oklahoma, as our speaker on the subject of eschatology, particularly what we call covenant eschatology. It was a thrill. Got to know Don personally. Don and Jan came out the first time. Don and William Bell came out the second time, and that was also just such a hoot. We traveled. We went to Canberra, saw some good sights and so on. And really, I never thought that Don would ever want to return or come back to Australia again. But a wonderful lady in I guess you call it the North Coast, don't know what they exactly call it, a town quite a bit north from here along the beautiful coast of Australia, New South Wales, said that she contacted me. We got to know each other, and she said, Don wants to come out again. And we thought, wow, that's really great. So we offered our building, the church building that God has given us, a wonderful place to worship, small, but suitable for this task, and started to gather numbers and names and so on. And I'm really thrilled about the number of people who really want to come and want to get involved and so on. So our core kind of meeting of the minds is around the eschatological framework of preterism. Big words. So there are several different ways to look at the prophecies in the Bible. And we're going to, and I'll just give you a quick picture. Most people look at the prophecies of the book of Revelation, at least a large number of them, as being future to us. And that means that they look at those judgments that we talk about, that it talks about, and those disasters and so on as something that's upcoming. Now, many people in that most people category see them as being imminent, happening at any time, and causes a lot of fear and so on. Some will say that just immediately before this happens, the church will be removed, but all your relatives who aren't part of the church, whatever, will burn or be judged or so on. All of that rests on this idea that these prophecies are yet to happen. Some will say these prophecies are yet to be fulfilled, at least many of them, but in an undeterminate time, maybe hundreds or thousands of years from now, that's a different position. The preterist position says, hang on now, the language used in the book of Revelation and in Jesus' prophecies and so on is the same language that was used in the Old Testament when prophets of the day talked about events that would happen in their lifetime or immediately after. We think about Jeremiah and Ezekiel talking about the fall of Jerusalem under the Chaldeans. It's a perfect study. You get to see this. And not only that, you look and you say, well, a lot of the language here, it can't be global language because if the earth is going to be destroyed, but people are here to watch it happen, how is that ever going to happen? So on. The preterist view says all those prophecies are fulfilled. Now, that's a big problem, because you'd say, well, how could the prophecies of the book of Revelation be fulfilled? One of the most wonderful things that has happened in the last few years is a general understanding, a growing understanding, that all the books of the New Testament were written before a major cataclysmic event, which is the fall of Jerusalem. Now, that fall of Jerusalem in the year 70, so I'm in 2025, in the year, that fall of Jerusalem in 70 really has a lot of prophetic language similarities to the fall of Jerusalem under the Chaldeans that Jeremiah and Ezekiel spoke about. You say, oh, when Jeremiah and Ezekiel and others were talking about the upcoming fall of Jerusalem, they use this kind of language, the cloud coming, the day of the Lord, and so on and so forth, and then shortly after Jerusalem falls. Now you look at the Lord Jesus Christ using that same language, the apostles using the same language, and you say, ooh, hang on now. That really works well. It's just a little packaged view of that. Anyways, the majority of people, all of our speakers would see that prophecy is fulfilled in the past, in that period of time, along with our main speaker, who is Don Preston, who is a great author and a very good friend. And the majority of our attendees would either believe that or would be very open to that topic. So that's really going to be fascinating. Now, as it is, that means I really don't have a lot of time. So I'm probably going to, so there won't be such a video today where I've had to prepare a topic video. There may not be one next week. I'm not sure. And I don't even know about the week after. There's some heavy duty topics that I'm studying. One is to do a very clear job of the nations that are mentioned in the Ezekiel 38 passage of Gog and Magog. And that's to point to Gog and Magog as to the book of Esther as the fulfillment of Gog and Magog in Ezekiel. I really don't want to rush this. I don't want to do it in small segments. I need a bit of time to do that. It's a bit of detail. The other one is to finish a study which kind of went on pause a while ago, which is the Little Apocalypse study, particularly around Leviathan and the crushing of the head of the serpent and so on. That's kind of where that paused, but I have to pick that up. Those are all on playlists as well. So there you go. Now, we did not anticipate at all, I did not, the kind of response that we got in terms of conference attendance. Truthfully, I kind of thought that we'd be looking at kind of half filling the hall, barely. But as it is, the little building we have is probably going to be packed. And that's really, really great. We've had to organize hotel accommodation and so on and so forth. We're still looking at how we're going to do on the day catering. And I really have to thank the volunteers who've come on board to help with all of this. Now you'd say, well, I'd like to be part of that, Al. Well, what we're going to do is to make every opportunity to live stream this event. And as we live stream it, it then becomes perpetually available on YouTube. You just be able to watch it afterwards or whatever. We're still not sure how we're going to break the talks apart. I haven't yet worked that out. And we have a lot of kind of that manual sort of thing to do. Just really haven't yet worked it out, even though it's close to the mark. But that's okay. We've got some good technology in place. I think everything's going to fly really nicely. So that's kind of what's happening here. We're looking at this. Now, the conference is called Eschaton 2025 with Don K. Preston. It's in the last week of March, and it is the 25th, 26th, 27th of March. We're starting early at 8:30 in the morning. Now, you say, that's hard, Al. How do we get there at 8:30 in the morning? Well, listen to me. We go from 8:30 in the morning till 1, 3 days a week, but nothing in the afternoon. Now, I have a really good reason for doing that. First of all, it gives us enough sessions. I'll run the keynotes session on the first time, and then we've got either testimonies or a good friend of mine, Morrison Lee, might do the next two. We're just not sure how we'll do that. By the middle of the morning, Don gets in, he gets his heavy-duty sessions underway, and it's all good. But the idea here really is that we don't have an after-lunch segment. We use after lunch to fellowship. Have you ever been to one of those corporate conferences? I need a sip of coffee here. Where? I go to them all the time in my business, and a few theological ones, but where they say, okay, we've got a morning session. We're starting at 9, and then we're going to go to noon or 1, and we'll have lunch. Then we're going to come back. Now, I've spoken at a lot of these conferences, done presentations, and you think, what's the worst speaking slot of the day? The first one in the morning? Oh, that's pretty good. No, people are still coming in and whatever, but they're awake. The worst one of the day is immediately after lunch. It's like, you're doing the customer presentation. Oh, great, I'm doing a customer presentation talking about my great venue, the stadium that I work in, and all this stuff, whatever. Oh, no, I've got the 2 to 3 slot. Oh, because you really know the audience really has to be there. So we're going to really change this up. We're going to stay in the morning and have fellowship in the afternoon, which is the thing people want. There's some people who are coming who have never face-to-face met anyone else who has the similar thoughts about eschatology in their whole life, and they're saying, wow. I had a couple of people call me. Actually, one gentleman, he really, really touched me. He can't make it because of his work situation, and he said his one desire in life is to shake Don K. Preston's hand. Personally, I've had a couple say something like that. Well, we're going to see if we can do that this year for others, and maybe next year for some more. We'll get back to you on that. Okay, so my name is Al Person. I'm not sure about a video next week, probably even just an update to this one. I don't know. And we'll be a couple of weeks away. All good. Hey, pray for us, and we'll send the update. We'll send the link so you know how to get to the streaming as soon as ever we know. I think it'll just be off the back of this channel, by the way. That should be the easiest. We've done that before, and that should be okay. So there we go. This was a little talk about Eschaton 2025 with our friend Don K. Preston, and you don't need to see my face again. And this was just an upcoming event video. Thank you for turning up. We will see you later. That's the video.